Hello, good evening and welcome to News 360 live from our studio here at Adesanwe Kanda in Accra. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I'm Ayisha Yakubu. Coming up, the headlines for this evening.
360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint,
Pepsodent Charcoal and Pepsodent Herbal,
EcoBank.
All eyes on Ablekuma North constituency as New Patriotic Party and National Democratic Congress prepare to slag it out in 19 polling stations. We bring you our build-up.
Ghana Police Service arrest one suspect in connection with murder of the immigration officer as investigations continue.
Also coming up, government hands mining firms Azuma Resources and engineers and planners 7 days to resolve dispute over lease to gold mine.
And later in business, government injects 1.4 billion cedis into the National Investment Bank amid IMF pressure as Agriculture Development Bank and Consolidated Bank Ghana are also set for recapitalization in 2026.
Later, we'll take you to Nigeria, where the military and security forces killed dozens of armed men in separate operations in parts of the country.
And it's going to be a very heavy election stories that we have in line for you. So do stay with us as we start from our build-up on Ablekuma North constituency.
Just as Martin said, we start our bulletin tonight from the Ablekuma North constituency. After 6 months without a member of parliament, the people of the constituency are closer to having a representative. Candidates from the two leading parties, the NPP and the NDC, will battle it out tomorrow in 19 polling stations to decide who wins the polls. We bring you our build-up by first looking at the story so far. My colleague Alfred Okanse joins me in studio to look at the results collated by the EC so far. Alfred, thank you for joining us this evening. Take us through the Ablekuma North constituency and tell us what to look out for.
And in fact, earlier today, something very significant happened ahead of tomorrow. The Electoral Commission did what has been described as the pre-collation. The pre-collation of 262 polling stations out of the total of 281 polling stations in that Ablekuma North constituency. That means that the outstanding 19 polling stations is what is up for grabs tomorrow, as has been earlier communicated. So out of the pre-collation today, the 262 polling stations that the results were collated, the NPP, from what was reported today by the Electoral Commission, 32,512 of the valid votes collated today out of this 262,000 went to the NPP, 32,512. That is Nanekwe Free. And then also the NDC polled 32,464. That's Rabna Oben. So there's a difference between the NPP and the NDC of 48 in favor of the NPP. That's why we put it here, that the NPP is leading so far as a result of this 262 polling stations collated. That's the pre-collation earlier today with this 48 votes in favor of the NPP because of the difference between 32,512 and 32,464. But this is a close and very relatively insignificant number if you're looking at the number of registered voters in these outstanding 19 polling stations that are going to take part in the election tomorrow. 6,839. So it stands to reason that all things being equal, if there's a high voter turnout or an average voter turnout, this number in favor of the NPP could play out as an insignificant difference. But then again, there are many who are also doing the projections and analysis indicating that how would everything that's played out ahead of tomorrow impact on voter turnout? With the NPP saying they were not going to contest as a political party, the candidate now saying she's going to contest as well, would that play to her favor or otherwise? Tomorrow is a day to watch, and we're going to be on the ground.
Definitely, we are going to be on the ground, and I know that at 10 p.m. tonight, you are going to give us much more on what to expect in Ablekuma North constituency tomorrow. Before we go to Martin on the magic wall, let's bring you this. The opposition NDC is meanwhile confident it can overturn the NPP's lead by 48 votes and win the elections on Friday. Tanko Rashid Computer is Deputy Director of Elections for the governing NDC.
We finished successfully. Everything went on smoothly. The NPP were there. The Electoral Commission, represented by their Director of Elections, Electoral Service and the deputies, Mr. Kwaanku. And the figures, we all agree to it. The 262 polling stations as collated. We ended up the NPP having 32,512, whilst the NDC, we have 32,464. That means a difference of 48. And that is what we are going to battle out tomorrow. So everything is set for tomorrow. No, at all, they didn't. In fact, they had problem with their calculations. And we realized that in one polling stations, instead of 143, they put in their system as 145. So it was making them a shortfall of 2. So when they raised it, we said we should go back and go through the figures one after the other. So we went through it and they realized that they made a mistake. Instead of 143, they put 145. So they had to take out. So the difference is 48. It still maintain the difference as from the 262 polling station is 48. That is separating us. It's a battleground and we are sure of winning tomorrow.
Thank you. Eyes are on the Ablekuma North constituency tomorrow as they go and vote in 19 polling stations. But I want to ask my colleague Martin Asiedu-Dartey, who is going to take us through some figures on the magic wall as well. Tell us, what does this outstanding constituency mean for the current composition of Parliament? So what does it mean for the NPP and what also does it mean for the NDC, Martin?
Very good questions you ask, Ayisha. And let's just go to Parliament because, you know, they say politics is a game of numbers. And what it means is that the numbers based on what happens tomorrow is likely to change in the House of Parliament. All of you would know that Ghana's current Parliament has a number of 276 seats. 276 seats. And currently, the NDC has an overwhelming majority of 183, and the NPP has 87. Now, we know it is 88. We've put 87 here because just 2 days or so ago, we heard about the passing of Ernest Kumi, who is a member of Parliament for Akwetia constituency and a member of the NPP. So that actually has dropped their number from 88 to 87. That's why we've left it at that, because there's a likelihood that the EC might conduct a by-election in Akwetia constituency sometime later this year. So if you look at the number of independent candidates in Parliament as well, there are just about 4 of them. And because of the death of Ernest Kumi and the vacant Ablekuma North constituency seat, the number of vacant seats in Parliament stands at 2. These are the numbers we are looking at the moment, and by all indications, by close update tomorrow, around this time when we are giving you the latest in terms of news on News360, this number or that number is likely to change depending on how Ablekuma North constituency plays out. Whoever wins is likely to change whether the NDC would go up by 184, or if the NPP manages to retain the seat, then they might get their 88 seats back, while we are waiting to see what will happen in Akwetia later sometime this year. And the NDC needs a 2/3 majority, or an absolute 2/3 majority, to be able to run business in Parliament without even the minority side. And based on that number, they already have probably more than that, because the independent candidates are already caucusing or working with the NDC in Parliament. So they have an absolute majority like we indicated. But to make our democracy interesting and thriving and competitive, we will need the NPP as well to work with them. So we need all the numbers that we can get. So tomorrow here at your Election Command Center, we'll be keeping very close eyes on what happens in Ablekuma and how it will impact Parliament.
Definitely, we are keeping our fingers crossed to see how all of that pans out. But Martin, also, we have been finding out from constituents on their own expectations ahead of the rerun.
My personal view, my personal point, Rabna have won. We all know. And even the previous election, he still said it. If you don't understand anything, go to court. So we don't know why Ekwe is still making us wake up, letting us not sleep. Irabna has won. With or without Ablekuma North is Irabna.
The commission itself has acted illegally for recoalition. It is never in their books that there should be any recoalition after the results have been announced. So the whole thing is illegal.
Voices and mood of some eager voters who will, in the matter of hours, bring finality to the impasse in the Ablekuma North parliamentary election. In a matter of hours, 19 polling stations in Ablekuma North will reopen their doors, not for the first time, but hopefully the last. The rerun, triggered by unresolved results from Ghana's 2024 parliamentary elections, comes after months of tension, legal drama, and political back and forth. This week, the Accra High Court threw out a last-minute injunction attempt by NPP parliamentary candidate Nana Ekuya-Owusu-Afriyi, who insists she already won. But that ruling cleared the path for the rerun and sparked a political U-turn. The NPP, which had vowed to boycott what it called a rigged rerun, is now back on the ground campaigning at full throttle. Yet a visit to Ablekuma North paints a different picture. NDC posters blanket the streets. Party foot soldiers are loud, visible and fired up. Their goal, flip this seat.
The margin that I'm telling you that we people, the margin is huge. Now they are dragging with small margin. That tells you that there is no stronghold in Ablekuma North now. And I'm saying it again. From this time, we are going to win this seat.
The party know, the people believe for NDC party is not a small thing. Because this time, everybody puts for a man for the NDC. But I'm so, if God permit this seat no, NDC take them already.
Both candidates are hopeful of victory.
Look, I've gone through 7 months of hustle and tussle and fighting for my right. And my right, God will let my right prevail tomorrow. I'm winning. The outcome is I have won.
I have no doubt that the will of the people will still stand. God will give it.
Regular voting procedures will apply, and the EC says all is set. But the outcome, we wait to see.
Right, so I'm sure many of you would also know that the biggest challenge the Electoral Commission has faced beyond the electoral challenges has had to do with issues of security. Let's bring in Richard Kumado, who is a fraud and security consultant who's joined us via Zoom for a quick chat. Mr. Kumado, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you.
We have, over the years, experienced some challenges when it comes to providing security for especially by-elections and even sometimes the main elections. Tomorrow, we have an opportunity to test our security services again. How do you advise the Ghana Police Service to carry themselves, considering the fact that over the last few months, they've struggled to provide enough security for the EC to do its job?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's just 19 police stations. Ablekuma North is one of the hotspots on the decks of the Ghana Police Service. What I expect my uncle Yawonu to do is to ensure that each police station has a maximum number of police officers to guarantee safety and to ensure that the voters have maximum security. Not just the voters, but the election officers, which includes the political party activity owners. Less than that, then people are going to point fingers at them that they have not been able to perform their duties, which is one of the accusations from the Electoral Commission. Without wasting much time, what I have seen this evening, as at the time I left Ablekuma North and visited almost 16 police stations where the elections will be taking place, I have seen some level of readiness. But the day is still young, I will expect them to do much more as the day heads on tomorrow for the elections.
There are concerns that if the police, because they probably want to save their image, send too many officers to man these 19 polling stations, it might come across as trying to intimidate the electorate. So what should the approach be in terms of the deployment and how they even interact with the voters who are there to exercise their franchise?
What I saw happening, if there's going to be any trouble, it will come from political party activities and from frontline politicians. The police, of course, will conduct their job in a manner that will depict professionalism. That is their conduct and their actions. It's also depend on the attack and the intimidation nature we are talking about. But that notwithstanding, I think the police will do a good job. I am very certain the police will do a good job. And where there are excesses, they should be able to mobilize as quickly as possible to diffuse tensions and make sure that this election stands out as credible as possible. One of the things we must also not lose sight is that the Electoral Commission must do number one, while the police do number two. Voting and voting materials must get to the place on time. Electoral Commission machines must work as accurately as possible. Election officers will have to be prepared. Political party agents will have to be at the police stations, and voters have to be orderly. It is when the Electoral Commission finish their number one, then you expect the police to do number two. But if they work together as a shared responsibility, I don't see any trouble coming. Any trouble is going to come from political actors. And I want to say that IGP Yohono will have to use this as a test case and follow up with what is going to happen in Akatia. So the stakes are high for him. Right. And I'm so much confident that he's going to pass it tomorrow.
And you indicate that security is a shared responsibility. What should the role of the electorates be? We've talked about the police, we've talked about the Electoral Commission, but the electorates are those that are going to be casting the ballot. What should they be doing to assist the police?
When you say something to the police. The police is your friend. The police is your brother and sister. They are there for your safety. They are there to ensure that nobody attacks you. If you are not comfortable with something, the first person to speak to is the police. We will also encourage the police to be a bit more friendly, and we want people to act orderly. Walk into the line, walk straight to the polling booth, and when you are given the papers, cast your vote and walk away. If you want to come back at 5 o'clock when the voting counting begins. We don't expect political actors to create too much problem for tomorrow's election. If anybody crosses the red line, the police should be swift in getting the job done, but arresting people who want to foment trouble tomorrow. We are seeing too many motorbikes in the Ablekuma North constituency. Right. I will be happy if the police tonight will also hold a press conference outlining what their procedures are going to be and encourage people to behave themselves. After all, this is the second time they are going to vote, and nobody should intimidate anybody from casting their vote. So that is where we are. And we'll also be monitoring seriously and inform the police when we say things that requires their attention tomorrow.
Okay. Mr. Kumado, thank you so much for your time. Richard Kumado is a fraud and security consultant.
We are still staying on tomorrow's rerun because the Electoral Commission has refuted suggestions. Its decision to rerun some 19 polling stations in the Ablekuma North constituency is due to political influence. At a press conference hours to the start of the poll, the Commission urged peace and calm to help it complete collation for the constituency.
According to the Electoral Commission, they have at all times strived to complete the collation process for the Ablekuma North constituency. Deputy Commissioner Dr. Bosman Eric Asare told journalists the inability of the police to provide protection, among other reasons, prompted the decision to rerun the polling stations.
The Ghana Police Service, in the response to the letter, informed the Commission that it had referred the issue of the completion of the collation of the Ablekuma North constituency parliamentary election results to the Attorney General for legal advice. They indicated that in view of the referral, the National Election Security Task Force will not be able to provide security until they receive the advice from the Attorney General. Since then, we have followed up with the police on several occasions. They have indicated today they have indicated they have not received the advice from the Attorney General. This put the collation process in limbo. It is important for the public to understand that the issue in contention has to do with the fact that the 37 pink sheets provided by the MPP and used to collate the results were scanned copies. After extensive deliberations, the Commission came to the conclusion that it will rerun the election in 19 out of the 37 polling stations. The Commission arrived at the decision to rerun the election in the 19 polling stations because the 19 scanned polling station results used for the collation, though approved by agents of both political parties, were not verified by the presiding officers responsible for those polling stations. The Commission was able to secure the confirmation of 18 presiding officers of their scanned pink sheets. The Commission was of the view that once its officers were legally charged to conduct the elections at the polling stations, and they have also confirmed the scan results, there was no need to rerun the elections in those polling stations.
He refuted strongly allegations of bias or influence in their decision to conduct the rerun.
The Commission's attention has been drawn to an unfounded accusation that it has been influenced by certain individuals to pursue the rerun. We state categorically that Ghana's electoral management body is an independent body and will not be dictated to by any person or institution. Our track record speaks for itself. The Ghana Police Service and the National Election Security Task Force have assured the Commission of their readiness to ensure security before, during, and after the rerun.
In all, some 6,839 voters are expected to cast their ballots in the 19 polling stations.
Now, members of Parliament have also shared their opinions and expectations on the rerun of parliamentary elections in the Ablekuma North constituency, which comes off tomorrow. While perspectives vary across the political divide, MPs from the National Democratic Congress side have expressed strong optimism about their candidates' prospects in the poll. Christian Yali interacted with them.
This is going to be one of the crucial elections, considering all of the controversies that have surrounded Ablekuma North. The NPP initially said they were not going to contest, but their candidate today has indicated that she is going ahead to contest. Do you feel that is going to pose a tighter contest for you as a party, I mean the NDC?
Not at all. It doesn't really change anything, because we went into the election on the 7th December 2024 with one mission, that's to win the election. And we believe we won the election hands down. And we are ready. Whether MPP are contesting, whether they are not, we are ready to go into the election to win every single one of those polling stations. All the members of parliament have been assigned to specific polling stations, and we're going to perform our duties diligently.
Even though the constituency is MPP strong, but I'm very sure if the process had been allowed to go through, NDC would have won that seat. 19 polling stations could make a difference comparing the two. If it couldn't have made a difference, the Electoral Commission would have gone ahead to declare. So I think what is going on is part of the democratic process. In a democracy, transparency, fairness must prevail. And I think that is what is prevailing there.
MPP itself as a party is scattered. The party doesn't want to go, but the candidate wants to go. But where there is this unity, I think that the center cannot hold. But NDC as a party is very, very confident that at all costs we will win Ablekuma Sif.
And we at your Election Command Center will bring in you coverage of the elections tomorrow right from 6 in the morning. And by 7 when polls start, we are your go-to choice for elections in Ablekuma North constituency.
Let's move on to some more stories this evening. A man suspected to be linked to the gruesome death of an immigration officer has been arrested as police intensify investigations into a tragic case that has shocked the Comet Estate enclave near Brekusu. The suspect, Bright Awe, is currently in custody at the Accra Regional Police Command. This follows the discovery of the charred remains of 38-year-old immigration officer Stephen King Amoa at a secluded bushy area near the GBC main tower. Godwin Asidiba reports when police arrived at the scene, they found his body partly burnt and wrapped in a woolen mat with maggots already forming on the decaying flesh.
I'm standing at the exact spot where the partly bent body of 38-year-old immigration officer Stephen King Amwa was discovered right here near Comet Estate off Brekusu, not far from the GBC main tower.
A thick haze drifts through the greenery, and with it, a stench, faint from afar, but unbearable up close. Beneath the grass, a portion is darkened. It's not just a burnt spot, it's where a man's life ended, consumed by flames.
The stench of decay is still very much felt in the air. On the ground, disturbing remnants, maggots, have begun forming on what's left of the officer's charred body. Really disturbing. His body was picked up by the police around 1 p.m. on Monday, July 7, 2025, and sent to the police hospital morgue. Officials say he was wrapped in a woolen center mat when they found him, and that is very much evident here, as you can still see pieces of the mat partly bent here with flies hovering around it.
Stephen Amwa had been missing since Tuesday, July 3, 2025. He left home at dawn to meet a friend who allegedly owed him over 200,000 Ghana cedis. That was the last time his family saw him alive. Later that day, a message from his phone claimed he had returned home with the money. But when his wife rushed back to check, he was nowhere to be found. It was a patrol team from the Comet police station under the Bree district that stumbled upon the body bent after a whistleblower's call, unrecognizable and damned. I've spent hours on the road, moving from one police station to another, tracing leads. Eventually, I found a family member who revealed a clue. Stephen's WhatsApp account, linked to his laptop at home, showed activity that didn't align with the messages sent from him.
There was a message from my cousin's phone to his wife. So the wife sent the message to another cousin of mine to go and check whether indeed he's at home. But when he got to the house, he wasn't there. So that was why we became suspicious and we started looking for him. So in the evening, we went to report the case at Taifa police station. So we started a search for him because we got to know that he was going to meet him for the money. So we started a search for the guy. So we got him arrested Sunday evening. But as of now, he has not confessed anything. But the only thing he has confessed that he met my cousin, gave him the money, a sum of 500,000 Ghana cedis. That was what he said. He gave it to him. He asked him to use the 200,000 to settle his debt, and then keep the remaining 300,000 for him. That he will come for it the next day.
Police have picked up a suspect, Bright Hour. He's currently in custody at the Greater Accra Regional Police Command, assisting with investigations. The family has officially confirmed the remains at the police hospital morgue.
My big cousin had a call that they've burnt someone somewhere. So we need to go and check if indeed he was the person. But that was the exact place that he went to meet the guy. Yes, so when they went there, they found that they burnt someone there. So they followed to the police station where they went to take the body, and they also brought them to police morgue to come and check. So, but when they came, they confirmed that it was him.
Here, among the ashes, lies the end of Stephen King Amwa's story. A public servant, a husband, and a father. For now, this place holds not just the memory of his final moments, but the beginning of a family's long journey for truth and justice.
Investigations, they say, are ongoing, but for now, all that remains here is shock, the smell of death, and a family desperate for justice. My name is Godwin Asidiba, reporting for TV3 News.
Let's go on to some other stories now. And government has handed Azuma Resources and E&P 7 days to resolve disputes over the sale of the Black Volta gold mines, or a decision will be taken in the interest of the country. It follows media controversy and press releases by the two parties over the sale of the mines, with both parties alleging impropriety. Maona Egbeta breaks down what has become a complex subject.
The controversy all starts with Imani's Bright Simmons flagging a media invitation by engineers and planners to announce a takeover of Black Volta Gold Mines, a local mine domiciled in the northern part of the country and owned by Azuma Resources Ghana. According to Mr. Simmons, that invitation, which would later turn into the signing of a financing agreement, was ill-fated as Azuma Resources Ghana denied selling the mine to ENP. According to records by both contesting parties, negotiations between Black Volta Gold Mines and engineers and planners started in 2023. This was after the mine owners approached EMP, a company connected to President Mahama's brother, Ibrahim Mahama, to purchase the mine as they had challenges, including mounting debt. The big question then comes in. If there was an agreement to buy, why are both parties out in the media? Well, according to Azuma Resources Ghana, ENP failed to meet timelines in fulfillment of the agreement, hence their decision to terminate the purchase of the mine. It doesn't end there. EMP has challenged the alleged termination agreement while disclosing they have secured a High Court order preventing any further engagement or development over the purchase of the mine. Which brings us to these set of facts now. Azuma Resources Ghana entered an agreement with EMP for the sale of their Black Volta gold mines valued at $100 million in 2023, with clear timelines and financing agreement. Despite challenges on both sides, ENP made some financial commitments, but these commitments did not stop Azuma Resources from terminating the agreement. EMP is currently challenging the termination in London and has secured a court order against any further development or sale of the mine. EMP announced financing agreement with ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development (EBID) worth $100 million to pay for the Black Volta gold mines. Both parties are accusing each other of impropriety in their respective media commentary. The noise has now attracted government attention. Sector Minister Emmanuel Kofi-Boah, in a statement, has directed an immediate cessation of the media conflict. He has issued a 7-day ultimatum for both Azuma Resources and EMP to settle all disputes amicably. A failure to reach an agreement, according to him, will prompt the government to take action in the interest of the nation. The Minerals Commission has also been ordered to help the parties in resolving the dispute to ensure the timely commencement of the mining project. For watchers of the space, the Minister's intervention is in the right direction, but must be backed with appropriate legislation.
This is News 360. We have some business news next. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. It is time for business. Menu Afo has joined us. Menu, welcome.
Thank you, Ayisha.
We're hearing that government has injected some 1.4 billion cedis into NIB. Can you give us the details?
Thank you so much. Welcome to the weather segment on News360. I am Menu Afo. So government has recapitalized the National Investment Bank, NIB, with 1.4 billion cedis in cash and bonds to support its restructuring amid pressure from the IMF to take decisive action on the ailing state-owned bank. The move, confirmed by Finance Minister Dr. Atto-Forson, comes on the back of the IMF board's approval of its fourth program review, which saw some $367 million hit the Bank of Ghana's accounts on July 9.
The National Investment Bank, NIB, has received a fresh capital injection of 1.4 billion cedis from government to support its operations and restructuring efforts. Sources say the recapitalization was done in a mix of cash and bonds as part of urgent reforms demanded by the IMF following its board's approval of Ghana's fourth program review under the fund program. Calls had earlier been made by the IMF for a possible shutdown of NIB due to its continued drain on the public purse, but the previous administration opted instead for a restructuring strategy supported by fresh capital. Speaking after inaugurating a new board for the bank, chaired by former Cal Bank CEO Frank Edu Jr., Finance Minister Dr. Kasela Atto-Forson confirmed the move to recapitalize NIB, with full details expected in the mid-year budget review. Dr. Forson also announced plans to recapitalize the Agricultural Development Bank, ADB, by next year and Consolidated Bank Ghana in 2026, saying the support will help these institutions fulfill their mandates and boost confidence in the banking sector. Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana says it will soon outline a new recapitalization roadmap for all commercial banks in Ghana, this time using a risk-based approach rather than a blanket requirement.
In more news tonight, a fellow at the Africa Policy Lens, Dr. Eric Boakye-Yiadom, has called for increased local participation in the government's flagship 24-hour economy program. He argues that the dominance of foreign investors in the implementation of government policies has not produced the desired outcomes, particularly in growing the local economy and stabilizing the city.
While Dr. Boakye-Yiadom underscores the importance of the 24-hour economy program, particularly government's intention to industrialize the country, he urges private participation initiatives should concentrate on local investors.
We have a problem in this country where every government agenda, we are looking for international or foreign investors to come in. But these foreign investors, when they come in, at the end of the year, all the profit that are made, they repatriate it, and that affects our currency vulnerabilities. So I think in this project, government should show commitment to support local businesses to go into that field by treating those that are already on government project fairly.
He has also emphasized the need for clear timelines and key performance indicators, KPIs, for the program for easy assessment and evaluation of progress.
Government talks about creating about 1.7 million jobs. Which sectors are the jobs going to be created? You should not create an impression that all our problems will be solved within this particular project. But when it comes to delivery and implementation, there are no structural or there are no systematic plan towards delivering the promise.
Dr. Boakye-Yiadom, however, condemned the establishment of the 24-hour Economy Authority, stressing it will defeat the sustainability of the program.
It will interest you to know that this $300 million seed money that government has pledged, huge portion will go into setting up this 24-hour authority. Already, there are various sectors and agencies that can partner government in rolling it out. And when a new government comes, the government will not have any option than to just keep the machinery or the agency running.
And now Acacia Health Insurance, a member of the Enterprise Group, has taken a bold step to redefine health insurance in Ghana. In a partnership with global healthcare provider Vitality Health International, Acacia has launched an innovative product aimed at improving not just access to care, but also encouraging healthier lifestyles.
Ayisha Health Insurance is charting a new path in Ghana's healthcare space, moving beyond traditional insurance to a model that promotes wellness, prevention, and global access to care. The collaboration with Vitality Health International brings to Ayisha a behavioral-based health insurance model, one that rewards clients for taking charge of their well-being.
Corporate Ghana and everyone whose work makes them move in and out of the country. Healthcare has to be fully assured wherever they may find themselves. So that is where this partnership really meets that need. In the next week or two, we would launch it out fully, and so it would make it available for every individual, every family who wants to sign on, so that that needs of the market would also be met.
With features like incentives for walking 10,000 steps, going for regular health screenings, or taking preventive tests like pap smear and mammograms, Ayisha clients can now earn weekly rewards for healthy living.
We are very focused on making sure that people are healthier, so we invest in prevention and well-being. We have a behavioral change program for every individual on our plans where we incentivize you to make healthy choices. We have products that can cover you across the African continent, but also globally. So wherever you need to seek your care, we can offer a product to support you to do that.
This new plan also comes with expanded coverage locally, across Africa, and even globally. With this new partnership, Ayisha Health Insurance is not just offering products, but launching a movement focused on wellness, access, and better living for Ghanaians.
Let's now take a look at what's happening on the forex and commodities markets. Well, that's how we wrap up the business news on News 360 tonight. I am Minu Afo. Stay with us. Sports news comes up next.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Lishen. Now, the Black Queens completed their final training session on Thursday ahead of their Group C game against Mali in the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations. Now, Ghana are seeking to rebound from a 2-0 loss to South Africa in their opening game and earn their first points of the tournament. My colleague Akosi Eje is currently in Morocco and put together this report.
Their journey was cut short after South Africa defeated Mali 2-0. This time, it's revenge and redemption for the Black Queens. Revenge for 2018, redemption to still stay in the competition as the Black Queens failed to win their game against South Africa. Coach Kimlas Biokegren has been speaking to us exclusively where he admits that it's going to be a very difficult game against the Malians. However, he believes that his players will come to play when it matters the most.
I expect a tough game. It's a good team, especially they are good in the attack. So it's going to be difficult for our defenders, but in the same time, I believe that we are a better team. We will really do everything we can to win and to take the 3 points.
Meanwhile, Black Queens player Nancy has also been talking to 3 Sports exclusively at their training center here inside there, and she also says this on the expectation that they will put out a very good game for Ghanaians.
Ghanaians should expect to win from the Queens because we are going all out and all in to get the 3 points so that we can qualify from the group stage.
For 3 Sports, Kusia Eje from Saidia.
Now, the GFA president, Kurt Okraku, believes the Black Queens have enough quality to get a positive result against Mali in their second Group C game on Friday. He spoke in an exclusive interview with 3 Sports.
And the performance in the second half gives me a lot of confidence going into the second game of the tournament. Mali will always come fighting. But I think we have a lot of quality, and the girls are very much focused at delivering that ticket to the knockout stage of the competition.
Now, the Black Satellites were held to a 1-1 draw in their opening match at the Wafu B tournament hosted at the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram Pram. The team took an early lead, but Nigeria equalized in the second half, denying Ghana a winning start. Now, Ghana's next match against Benin is a must-win if they hope to advance. With a strong finish in their sights, the team aims to secure a semi-final spot and qualify for the African Under-20 Cup of Nations. Now, Ghana's last Wafu Zone B title was back in 2020. That's it for the sports segment here on News 360. My name is Bill Lishen. Entertainment is up next.
In entertainment news this evening, Ghana and Korea are entering a new chapter of collaboration aimed at spotlighting Ghanaian talent through art and culture. The partnership begins with a staged adaptation of one of Korea's most revered folk tales to be performed at the Accra International Conference Center, produced by playwright Lateef Abubakar.
How dare you! Less than an hour, and you kill an innocent soul?
Following his recent successful international collaborations with Spain and Italy, acclaimed Ghanaian playwright Lateef Abubakar continues to push boundaries in projecting Ghana's theatrical talent onto the global stage.
Perhaps.
How did I get here? What's this I smell?
Perfume, my lord.
Perfume!
His latest partnership with the Korean Embassy in Ghana serves as a cultural bridge between the two nations. The collaborative production, Sim Majole, features a distinctive cast that includes Ghanaian screen veterans Fred Amugi, Jackie Ankara, and Kofi Yeboah. The play is richly infused with the rhythms, language, and symbolism of the Ga people, offering an authentic cultural experience. To Latif Abubakar, this project represents a significant opportunity to spotlight Ghana's creative economy and showcase its vibrant talents on the international platform.
Once you are able to bring the magnifying glass onto our talents, I feel strongly that most of them will be on the international stage. What we need is for people to see us. So this kind of collaborations and partnership gives the platform for international organizations to begin to Google us, for organizations within those countries begin to search the background of the people participating in this particular production. Once it's Korea, trust me, the Korean media picks it up through the embassy. Once it's Italy, the Italian media picks it up. Once it's Spain, the Spanish media picks it up. And then here and there, day in, day out, we begin receiving calls of inviting us to participate in various programs within their country.
Sim Majorly. On the 9th of August, we will make history.
Let's find out what's happening on the international front.
Nigeria's military and security forces have killed dozens of armed men in separate operations in the northwest and the northeast of the country. Katsina State's Commissioner for Internal Affairs, Nazir Muazu, said on Thursday security forces killed at least 30 gunmen after armed attacks in the restive northwest. He claimed criminals were raiding 3 villages on Tuesday when they were killed by government forces. A joint police and military operations was launched on Wednesday after hundreds of armed men attacked several villages, Muazu added in a statement. He said a civilian, 2 soldiers and 3 policemen were also killed. Israel's defense minister Israel Katz has said Israel will strike Iran again if it is threatened by Tehran. Israel launched a 12-day air war against Iran in June that's raised fears of border regional conflict. The 2 sides agreed on a U.S. brokered ceasefire announced by President Donald Trump on June 23 to end hostilities. Israel struck Iranian nuclear sites during the campaign, citing concerns that Tehran was nearing the development of a nuclear weapon, which Iran denies. The United States joined the campaign with strikes on Iranian nuclear sites.
And that's it for our package. Thank you so much for watching. I am Martin Asiedu-Dartey.
And I'm Ayisha Yakubu. Ghana Tonight comes up next at 10 p.m. Please stay with us.